What is going on, everybody? It is episode 790 of Pop Culture Crisis. Wow, 790 episodes. My name is Brett, and I am here with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. You're seeing me on the first day of Mark Wahlberg's 40-day challenge, and you can also join me as well if you're feeling hardcore today.
It has another name, right?
No, actually, I've only ever known it as Mark Wahlberg's 40-day challenge. He actually came up with it.
The problem is like that's actually indicative of like what's happened in society now, where everything that used to just exist has a name. Where it's like, I used to be attracted to people who were intelligent. Now you have to be a sapiosexual. So everything needs a name. What it is you're Lent maxing.
Right. Fast maxing. Trying to, I don't know. Yeah.
Can you God max?
Sure, you can God max. What flavor of Monster is that, by the way? I don't think I've seen you with
Orange
that before.
Dreamsicle.
Amazing. I just felt like putting on blast for that.
It's amazing. It's so good.
Orange Dreamsicle Monster.
It's so good.
Is fueling this show's existence.
It is. Oh, and right down here in the chat, Dingus Khan says, I signed up on Halo for the 40-day challenge.
Nice.
There you go. Did you ask them to make it very like legible?
Yeah,
camera ready.
I told the priest, hey, I'm gonna be on a live stream later. Can you just get it right this time? And he was like, understandable. Live streamers get special treatment in this church. And he made sure that it was at least in the shape of a cross this time instead of a blob. And I mean, when you look at Mark Wahlberg on the Today Show talking about his 40-day challenge, you can see that he has the most immaculately shaped cross on his forehead. I know no Catholic who has ever had a cross that legible on Ash Wednesday other than him. So he must have told the priest, I'm going to be on TV later. Can you just make it look nice?
Yeah. I'm picturing like the makeup artist on a movie, like just like getting it real accurate. Like,
yeah, she's like cleaning up the edges.
Wait, would they bring in a priest to do it if they were doing it on a movie set?
On a movie set?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like, I guess it wouldn't be filmed over Lent, so it wouldn't need to be. I'm just trying to picture them trying to be as accurate as possible. Like, is it somehow sacrilege to have a non-priest put it on?
Probably, if it's for a costume. Yeah. I don't know, but the ashes are made from the ashes of the palms from Palm Sunday.
Okay.
So if it's not ashes of blessed palms, then you can just use makeup.
Okay. Well, they probably have, and that's probably what it is. It's kind of like how they use fake snow rather than real snow because it shows up better on camera. They have something in the movies that like just looks like maybe Mark Wahlberg, maybe it was like makeup.
Partly makeup to like clean it up, but he had just been at church before going on the Today Show.
I'm not gonna call him out.
We're not impugning Mark Wahlberg's dignity and integrity right now.
Correct.
So he's staying prayed up.
Do you want to let people know what you're going to be doing for your 40-day challenge, for your Lent maxing?
How about we wait for them to ask?
Okay. All right. We'll wait for people to officially ask. Yeah. All right, guys, we have a bunch of stuff to talk about today. It's going to be a lot of fun. But before we get started, would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already? The best ways that you can help this channel grow is to subscribe to the channel and to share the videos and the live streams out with everyone that you know. It is the best way to spread the word for us. So thank you guys so much for that. So we have a bunch of stuff to get into today. Speaking of Lent maxing, some person who's not Lent maxing is Matt Murdock in the new season of Daredevil Born Again, because they've kind of minimized his the religious aspects of the storyline. But I'm going to talk about it a little bit before we get started with the main topics today, because I do have thoughts on it. I think I huffed copium until I liked it last night. Like I talked myself into liking it more than I actually did.
We have a 20 real quick. Value in you, Mary. Is it true that there is Roman Catholic and Catholic Light for the Americas, where people don't follow the rules nearly as strictly?
Like LITE.
Like
YouTube Premium Light that I just saw about today.
Well, I mean, most of the Catholics in America are technically, canonically, they're Roman Catholic. But there are a lot of them who don't believe in the Catholic Church's teachings and don't follow the Catholic Church's teachings. That is true. Not to throw them under the bus or anything. But yeah, I don't know. They are called routinely cafeteria Catholics who pick and choose what they would like to
a la carte Catholics.
Yeah, what they would like to follow versus not based on their whims.
Okay. I was just thinking about there's an old song from the dudes in G Unit called G'd Up. I Stay G'd Up. We should make. I'm surprised that corny Mark Wahlberg he's gonna come back as a rapper.
Yeah.
To do I Stay Prayed Up.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I am going to talk a little bit about Daredevil Born Again. We're also going to talk about Meghan Markle because the release of her show is here and it's been a debacle to say the least. Yes. We're going to be talking about the public response to that and the sense of glee that people that hate her really seem to have every time they dunk on her. It is like, quite amazing.
Not me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't not get excited to dunk on Meghan Markle. I mean, I think sometimes it gets a little too much.
It's more like me with Bob Dylan. Like, I don't care enough about Meghan Markle to be gleeful when dunking on her because I'm a dude.
We have another 20 from guitarist Gabe. I'm giving up cursing for Lent. It might be the hardest thing I've ever done, and I've given up meat before. Mary, what are you doing for Lent?
There you go.
Yeah, I think I did actually try to give up cursing for Lent one year. I forget which one. And mostly I did. And it got to a point where I felt uncomfortable saying swear words. I'm very far from that point now.
Yeah.
But yeah, this year I decided to give up Taco Bell, which is going to be very difficult for me.
So if I do show up with bruises one day, you'll know that she's going through withdrawal.
Yeah, you will know why. Brett has suddenly shown up with an injury. And I'm also going to be embracing some silence. I'm going to be driving in silence, which really sucks. And it's also not about just giving things up, but you also add things. Like, it's not just taking things away. So I have
you're raw dogging drives.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. I also have a new routine of prayer that I'm going to implement. And I'm going to be praying the rosary more often. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a holistic approach.
There you go. It's going to be great. So we're going to talk about Meghan Markle. We're also going to talk about Alec Baldwin, who is back in the news, because I've gotten now several messages from people who are like, are you watching this ridiculous Alec Baldwin reality TV show? But he's back in the news because he is being sued over the Rust shooting, and he now says that he has PTSD from what happened. Alec Baldwin shoots and kills someone. Alec Baldwin most affected, apparently.
Like, I know this is the entire point of reality TV, but they keep giving reality shows to the worst people.
I mean, you don't give it to the best people.
Both Meghan Markle and Alec Baldwin got to sign a deal for a reality show at about the same time.
Maybe they can have one together.
Oh, yeah. A podcast where they both compete with each other on who's the bigger victim.
The Duchess and the Douchebag.
That is genius. That is genius. They should do that.
God, Lemon.
You're good at that.
Yeah.
You have a lot of good marketing ideas.
Yeah, they could do that. So we'll talk.
You could revamp both of their careers.
I'm trying to help them. We'll talk about Alec Baldwin. We're also going to talk about Blake Lively because in her ongoing legal battle with Justin Baldoni, Taylor Swift looks to be being questioned under oath about all this. Imagine the stupidity of it all. So we're going to talk about that. Also, a judge is leaning towards dismissal of the lawsuit against the New York Times. That has not officially come down yet, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to get a bunch of other stuff. If you're ready, Mary, we can just go ahead. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. I'm going to do just a quick, again, we are not necessarily an inherent review channel. We don't review a whole ton of movies and television shows. We're probably going to be reviewing Snow White coming up soon. But I do want to talk a little bit about Daredevil Born Again before we get started on the show today. It's one of those things where I was watching it last night, And I did like it. I won't say that I didn't like it, but I feel like it might be simply because I'm so starved for content that takes itself seriously, especially Marvel. You know, the lack of the lack of winks and nods to the camera from the show was almost enough to kind of get me into it, and it took itself seriously enough that I enjoyed it. But the general plot for the first 2 episodes, because those are the only ones that come out, is that a very, very important death to Matt Murdock happens and causes him to give up being Daredevil. I almost said the character of Daredevil, but the vigilante of Daredevil.
Just real quick, wasn't the main concern about Disney taking over this show, they kind of went back and forth on saying whether it's a new show or a continuation of the Netflix one.
It is a continuation.
The main concern being the tone shift.
Yeah.
So how significant was the shift in the tone based on Netflix to Disney Plus?
So the creators of the original Daredevil Born Again, before it was revamped, was a dude named Chris Ord, and I forget the other guy's name, but they're the two. I know them because they're the guys who made Covert Affairs, which isn't a serious show. And they were credited as they're still credited as the creators of this show, but they were scrapped after filming 6 episodes. And the only episode that stuck with that is episode 2 of this show. Everything else has been completely redone. So tonally, it is closer to the Netflix Daredevil series than anything else that Marvel is putting out, but it still doesn't have the same grit. The color palette isn't as dark. It feels very Disneyfied in that it's sanitized. Like, it's still during the day, but it's like overcast out rather than the majority of the show taking place at night. Mm-hmm. And it just doesn't have the dirt and the darkness that the original had. And right off the bat, there is a really, really bad opening set of CGI and green screen that I could not look away from. There was so little of that in Daredevil. You get a good fight scene at the end of episode 2, but at the beginning you get Matt swinging to the buildings, and it looks really bad. It looks like it's on a really bad green screen soundstage. It doesn't look like much of it was done in camera. And it took me out of it in the moment. And the other big issue here is that politics plays a big theme in this. Now, I like political shows. I like House of Cards. I liked Boss with Kelsey Grammer. I don't like it when shows that are not inherently political in nature do storylines that involve like somebody running for office. And that's what this is Wilson Fisk runs for office. And yes, it is very clearly a Trump allegory. Even like people were saying Red Hulk in Captain America Brave New World was that. I did not really get that inherently, but in this, one of the things that's going on is they're doing street interviews, like low quality video street interviews. I don't know why they're low quality considering a phone has like a 4 and an 8K camera now. But like they're doing these street interviews with BB Ulrich, who is Urich, which is Ben Urich's niece from the original Daredevil series. They revealed that later on. And they're doing interviews with people on the street about Wilson Fisk, and the guys are like, "Oh, I like him. Oh, yeah, he's not like other politicians." And the women are like, "He's a bad guy."
So we know what they're getting at.
Yes, there. It's very clear what they're doing with that. It's not as blatant as I think some people made it out to be, or maybe I'm just so just dead to it that it just didn't bother me as much as other people. But people that are hip to politics will catch that right off the bat. Also, and I'm not going to spoil the death, but you don't see much of Karen Foggy in episodes 1 and 2, and they're replaced with a bunch of new characters that you don't care about because they weren't in the previous series. So why would you get rid of them? I understand why they felt that the death that happened needed to happen, but to not have Karen and Foggy and replace them with these characters, it's Heather Glenn, who's going to be Matt's new girlfriend, and she's also now Wilson Fisk's marriage counselor. So Fisk is getting sopranoed and going to marriage counseling with Vanessa, who was the worst character of all of Daredevil, who I hated from episode 1, or the first episode
she showed.
Is she written
in a way that you're supposed to hate her?
I don't.
Or you just hate her?
I just hate her. I hated her from the moment she showed up in the show. I never liked her character. And Fisk just isn't formidable in the way that he was in Daredevil seasons 1 through 3. And there's continuity issues where I'm like, wasn't he in jail at the end of episode 3? They didn't really explain that. I guess they explained it in Echo, but I didn't watch Echo. So homework.
We love homework.
Yeah. If you liked Daredevil seasons 1 through 3, there's enough of the bare bones concept of that in this show that you might be okay with it, given the fact that the show takes itself seriously enough, and it's pretty different from the other Disney Marvel fare. But you're going to get into in the next coming episodes the anti-vigilante task force, I believe, which is they're pulling that storyline about cops wearing Punisher logos because Marvel Comics writers had TDS and didn't like the fact that cops wore like the Punisher logo, not because they care about Frank Castle, but because the logo looks cool, because it's a skull, because dudes like cool looking logos.
It's like wearing a monster snapback.
Yeah. Oh, that's yeah. The bad CGI at the beginning put it off to a bad start. It was entering into Daredevil 2003 with Ben Affleck territory. But like I said, the bones of the original series are there. I'm going to continue watching it, but it could be one of those ones that I end up falling off down the line. It doesn't capture the magic of the original ones. And for those who are wondering, there is very little mentioned about Math's Catholic faith in the first 2 episodes. I don't hold that against them. It's early on. Like, we're not 4 episodes in. We're not 6 episodes in. There's one scene where he's passing by a church and very visibly makes the choice to not go in.
So he's having a crisis.
He's having a crisis of faith. It's so much more blatant. Like he's close with an actual parish priest in the series. So to go from him not having conversations to suddenly, it's part of it. But again, this isn't a review. I'm not going to be posting this. I didn't write out a bunch of plot points in order to do this in a really linear fashion. But if you have Disney Plus, maybe it's on your cell phone plan, go and check it out. Let me know what you think. Let me know on X what you think of it. I'd be interested to see. Like I said, I came away from it liking it, and the more I thought about it, it was am I just huffing major copium? It could be. So
you usually are, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Fair point. All right, let's get started then.
Hollywood's newest fashion trend, no kidding, is butt cleavage. Cleavage of the butt. Crack window, if you will. And you could see this displayed at the Vanity Fair Oscars after party, specifically popularized by Nepo baby Zoe Kravitz. This is what you have to resort to get attention when you're only famous because of your parents. And let's just take a look at that photo. Quick blink and you miss it type thing. There you go. That's what she was wearing.
I mean, I don't know what she was showing off, but
she was dressed by Saint Laurent. They were bragging about this on social media. And ironically, after her 2021 Met Gala look, which was similarly scantily clad and revealing, she defended herself saying, "Being uncomfortable with the human body is colonization / brainwashing. It's just a body. We all got 'em." So if you...
I fucking hate the West sometimes.
If you make fun of Zoe Kravitz for showing her crackvits...
I'm sorry, that
is colonization.
That is deserving of the F word that I just gave it. I fucking hate the West, and college was a mistake. Seriously. Fuck you.
Well, she's like this because of Hollywood, not because of college necessarily.
Yeah, but the people who keep that perspective have it because they went to college to say stuff like that.
Right.
It's like when people talk. I literally was talking about this the other day because they were talking about how the word genocide.
Crevice.
How the word genocide gets overused. Everything is a genocide.
Yeah.
And that's because in the actual United Nations definition of genocide, what acts constitute a genocide. Killing members of the group, yes. Causing serious mental or physical harm to members of the group. That opens them up to using that word for literally anything.
So they're actually changing the definition of genocide. Cool. Here were some of the reactions to Zoe's crevice. Terrible dress, but she can sit on the toilet easily now. That's a little life hack for you.
I mean, you could have done that with a short skirt.
Or like those footy pajamas that have a little butt flap on the back. No one even has to see your crack when you wear stuff like that. Another one said, personally, I think it's fun, though my IBS could never. I hate everything. And this wasn't just Zoe Kravitz that was out on display. This has actually been a trend. It's percolating for quite a while now. Also seen on Gabrielle Union. Julia Fox was also at the Vanity Fair Oscar party wearing next to nothing except for her hair strands covering her.
The best part about Julia Fox wearing next to nothing is it proves how nobody cares, because Bianca Censori got 3 days of nonstop media attention. She does it, and she got like page 3 below the fold.
Yeah, nobody even like cared about Julia Fox after she and Kanye broke up. So she's still desperately clinging to relevance.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I forgot she dated him.
She was the proto Bianca. She was kind of Bianca in her first, test screenings, I guess, and it didn't work out for her.
The hell does she mean it's colonization?
I would love to ask her that. I'm sure that she would have a really long, drawn-out explanation as to why people making fun of her crack is colonization.
Did it have something
I couldn't tell you.
Did somebody like bash through the borders of your of your home and country to tell you that you shouldn't wear that?
Yeah, I mean, they ought to if they haven't already. Olivia Wilde was also seen at the Vanity Fair party wearing a see-through nightgown instead of an actual dress. No formal wear to be seen, just panties. Do you have that?
Yep.
It's giving granny. It's like giving like your grandma had 12 kids wearing this. Vibes.
Nah, it's too see-through for that. And it's not cotton.
Yeah, that's the trend is not the fashion trend that they're embracing now is not wearing clothes. Fashion experts have weighed in on this trend of women flashing their butts. So here's what they have to say about it. Fashion expert Lisa Talbot says, this new wave of ultra-revealing fashion reflects a growing trend where bold body-bearing styles are being embraced by celebrities and designers alike. Social media has also played a huge role rewarding bold statement-making fashion. There's an undeniable element of shock value. Fashion loves a rebellious moment, and these looks certainly deliver on that front.
Remember, every single one of these hypocrites will talk about the male gaze while wearing that outfit, because they have no morals, they have no beliefs, they have no nothing. They're all empty vessels of stupidity.
Funny, isn't it? They rail against the male gaze and being objectified, and yet here they are displaying all, wanting to be seen and valued for their bodies and not who they are. There's always a need from both designers and celebrities to push boundaries, embrace their bodies and style and self-expression. None of this means anything.
No.
This is all just word salad. While the most daring versions of this trend will likely remain on the runway and red carpet, we will see more wearable interpretations filtered down. You'll see ultra low-rise pants making a return, as well as dresses with backless designs and strategic cutouts. So are we bringing back whale tails? Is that the next step here?
I mean, if America's going to get back to the low-rise jean, they're going to have to get back to the gym first, because when low-rise jeans were popular, people were skinnier.
That is true.
Like
however,
I say, the reason people wear shirts that show their stomach now is that it's a flex. In a country full of fat people, it's a flex to have a flat stomach.
I've even seen like men are wearing crop tops more often these days.
They're channeling their 80s football workout uniforms.
But it somehow doesn't come off as macho. It just comes off as gay.
It came off as macho in the 80s. It does not come off
anymore.
As macho
It's called baby girl energy. We don't have machismo energy in today's pop culture. But the thing about low-rise jeans coming back and people needing to like go on Ozempic and lose weight to wear them, it's funny to me because I always thought that the high-waisted mom jeans make you look even fatter. So what was the whole point? If you were trying to hide your fat rolls underneath the mom jeans, it wasn't working. It was actually highlighting that. And if you wear low-rise jeans that actually fit you, you won't have a muffin top. It's like self-defeating in a way. But everyone knows that if you're skinny, you look better in any type of jeans or any outfit whatsoever. So
they're all hypocrites.
They really are.
They're all hypocrites, every single one of them.
And they make statements like this about pushing boundaries. There's no boundary left to push. Yeah. Like, if you've seen Bianca naked on the red carpet at the Grammys, there's no boundary left to push other than wearing clothes. Like, that's the ultimate boundary, right? Yep. It's just wearing respectable clothing, following the basic rules of formal etiquette. That's boundary pushing now. And it's funny because if this is about fashion and self-expression, you're not expressing yourself. I think it's really ironic because when women wear zero clothing and dress in revealing ways, they're trying to hide themselves. That's not self-expression.
All of this stuff just to dudes is just like, it's word salad and it doesn't mean anything. It's literally held up by the fact that we live in the West and we have less things to worry. We have more important things to worry about. Like we have less things to actually like impede our daily life, so we get to care about stuff like this.
Yeah, it's a luxury problem to have,
and
for sure.
For celebrities, it's just a made up thing that allows them to sound like, to exercise their creative writing skills from when they went to college.
Remember when Florence Pugh wore a see-through top and like showed her whole tits out on the red carpet? People were making comments about how that was inappropriate, and she said that she was being body shamed.
What boundaries was she pushing? What message was she sending other than people like titties?
Yeah, like, but she was acting like this was some kind of brave stance.
She still looks like the bear on those honey bottles. She does.
Yeah, we stand by that assessment.
She does. Look, here's the thing. I would have more respect if they were just like, look, I just wanted to hoe out. Like, or just be like, look, I'm in good shape. I take care of my body. I like to show off and flaunt the work that I've put into the way that I look. That is way better than some ChatGPT written ass response about why it's socially beneficial to dress slutty.
It's like what people say
I don't care about dressing slutty. I care about intellectualizing dressing slutty. Dress like all the sluts you want. That's cool. Nobody cares. But when you turn it into some fake deep thing, right? People, maybe it's just because I'm a dude. Maybe this makes perfect sense to women. I don't know.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it reminds me of what people say about trad wife influencers. They say, like, you know, just starting an OnlyFans would be more honest. Like, it would be more honest if they could come out and say that. Like, I just wanted to dress like a slut today.
I can't. I get where it comes from because they are in an industry full of luxury, in an industry where you get to have luxury beliefs and you get to have luxury struggles, where telling somebody that they're dressing funny is colonization, despite the fact that that doesn't make any sense and nobody's going to call them on their bullshit.
Like, no one is afraid of your body, Zoe Kravitz. Like, no one is expressing a fear of your body. It's just that they're making fun of you.
What does that mean? They're afraid of your body?
Yeah, like, why are you afraid of bodies? We all have them. Yeah, you should see it maybe in the mirror in the privacy of your own home if you're that passionate about your body. But nobody else asks to see your crack.
Be more honest about it. Stop trying to sound fake deep.
Yes.
All right.
Another foray into modern beauty standards. Botox is incredibly common in Hollywood, and I just saw a before and after photo of a patient who received Botox injections going viral. They were showing comparisons between her making expressions before Botox and after, and you can pretty clearly see in this before and after, she's not able to have any emotion on her face anymore.
Let me see if I can go wider.
You can also see they purposefully had her not wear makeup in the before photos, but she was wearing a full face of makeup in the after to make it a more appealing sell. You can't look angry anymore. You can't look surprised anymore. And this really struck a chord with people. Here were some of the responses. One person said, "The practice of paralyzing facial muscles to mute our natural expressions is, I think, a way patriarchal beauty standards erase women's individuality in favor of constructing a docile feminine existence. Botox is a tool of the patriarchy, she said. Now, in response, one person said, it seems like Botox is becoming more common with younger women. It's going to be interesting to see how babies attempt to learn facial expressions from their mothers, whose faces do not move naturally at all. Sort of the way that women raising infants during the pandemic were masked constantly.
Don't worry, guys.
Now their babies don't know how to speak because they never watched the face move and make sounds.
These types of ladies have been doing this for decades with Xanax, so this is nothing new. They're just doing it with a different chemical now.
All the barbiturates, yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously, you know, there are female enforced beauty standards. I don't think that men are out here telling women that they need Botox. And she made sure to clarify, just because a beauty standard is patriarchal doesn't mean that only men enforce it.
Maybe the most controlling and vapid of men at like the worst of the worst might do something like that. 99.9999% of men on earth would rather they actually here's the thing, you always talk about how men aren't mind readers, but we'd be a little bit closer if we could actually see what your facial expression was. See, maybe the problem is that they're like, why can't he read my mind? But it's actually, well, it's not just that I can't read your mind, it's that I can't understand when you're actually mad anyways, because your face doesn't move. Most men aren't interested in that. It was like that picture that went viral a bit ago about it was like the blonde girl, the full face of makeup, and then it was her in like a sweatshirt and in sweatpants, and she looked like the same person, just less like a painting.
Yeah.
And I don't know anyone who would have chosen the girl with all the makeup on.
Well, it depends on the type of man you're trying to attract at the end of the day.
So it's more, well, we were talking yesterday about that list of icks that guy made, which was, I was like, first of all, making a list of icks is really, really embarrassing to begin with. Yeah. But secondly, it's like, you don't think of them as icks, what you think of them as indicative of other personality types. So it is true that it doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, if so, I don't even remember what some of them were, but, you know, somebody who wears a ton of makeup and wears expensive clothes isn't necessarily not your type, but it is indicative of a personality type on a broader scale that might not signal to you a good match.
Sure.
That's not judgment of that person. It's just that we die if we don't learn how to like recognize something before it gets to us.
Mm-hmm. Right? I remember a few of them. One was driving like for women, driving a Nissan or a Jeep.
Because if she drives a Nissan, then she's like a nurse's aide and she has kids named Aiden, Braden, and Zayden. Now that's a broad scale generalization that I'm making based off memetics, but you know, stereotypes exist for a reason. You could make the same thing about dudes. If he wears, if he takes the selfie with sunglasses in the car and he's got a monster hat on and he holds the camera down here, he's a divorced dad of two.
Or if he has a souped up pickup truck, he might be compensating for something.
Again, like it's not indicative of that person specifically. No. It's indicative of larger trends.
Or like eyelash extensions was another one on the list, I guess.
No dude. Like even like, and you've made the point before, you said they notice subconsciously.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, but that means that actually proves the point. He's not asking for you to do that. And even if you didn't do that, he's not going to know how to verbalize that he liked it because he doesn't know they're there.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just think that in an era where people, especially young people who are stunted socially, have enough trouble reading social cues from other human beings, the worst thing you could do for yourself is freeze your face so that you can't show someone that you're angry at them, or you can't show someone that you're not feeling their vibe. Like, you're actually doing yourself no favors in that regard. And I do believe that a lot of public figures be them celebrities, politicians, they're going to regret down the line doing this to themselves. There was a recent appearance that Lara Trump did on Fox that got a lot of negative feedback because she noticeably has a lot of work done on her face, including Botox. And they showed a couple of Lara Trump. Oh, yeah. They showed a couple of stills from her appearance where I'm just going to be honest. She doesn't look like a natural human being. In the second one, especially.
Yeah.
In motion, like here's the thing. In photos, maybe you could make Botox seem like a good idea. In motion, people are very disturbed by it.
See, I get to make this joke because my eyes are very close together, but her eyes look like they're playing tug of war and running towards opposite directions. I can make that joke because my eyes get made fun of too.
Yeah, you're in the clear there. But Meghan Trainor was another celebrity who talked about her regret doing Botox. She said that basically she didn't realize, or she wasn't warned, the consequence would be you can't smile.
Here we go.
I got too much Botox and I need help. I'm a happy person here. I'm holding a puppy, and I don't look.
Oh, she's doing the thing where the little bit on the side of the mouth like doesn't quite close.
Yeah.
Happy. I look like I smelled someone's fart. Help me.
I think you're faking it.
This is how happy I can get.
Dude, it's frozen. Hear people say, the trainers have beautiful smiles,
Yeah.
so we don't need to adjust anything.
You know what this did teach me?
What did
it taught me
you?
my smile does light up a room, and when it's not there, it is a dim light.
Okay.
I got too much.
She also said to all my fellow girlies out there who are in your 30s, hi, I got too much Botox. Someone convinced me with my little lips that if you did a lip flip, this is a surgery where they don't inject anything into your lip, but they maneuver your muscles to turn it upwards, basically, so it's permanent. And you put filler right above your upper lip. You could have a beautiful flip, and I could have one for the first time in my whole 30 years of living. It was not true. I cannot smile anymore. Everywhere I go, I cannot smile. My face hurts to smile. This is actually lowering your quality of life.
Yeah.
I did find it most disturbing to find out that it changes your brain chemistry.
How so?
Because when you make certain expressions with your face, it changes how you feel.
Yeah, it's like they tell you to like chew on a pencil to like force your muscles to go into a smile because it will actually change the way you feel.
It's actually proven that if you consciously smile, it actually changes your mood. It improves your mood to smile. And once you have paralyzed your muscles in your face where you're not able to do that, it will make you less happy.
Yeah. I do feel for women in these situations, given that men, it's like, look, I'm 38 and I'm going to age in whatever way my face ages, and that's going to be fine. And I make the comparison all the time. I said men grow into their faces in Hollywood and women grow out of them. It's an unfortunate truth that the roles that end up being important in Hollywood for men tend to be roles of authority: politicians, CEOs, CIA agents, businessmen. And you grow into that role because you have more authority when your face looks to be a little bit more weathered, like you've seen some shit.
Sure.
Right? And women, it starts at the other direction, and then they have to work constantly to prevent it from going away. And they're kind of on this ticking clock. And I do feel bad for them in that respect, but it's a lie when they say like there's no roles for older women now. Like Michelle Yeoh be making money, okay, every day. Michelle Yeoh is making a ton of money in Hollywood.
There's a lot of people.
Jamie
Nicole
Lee
Kidman,
Curtis,
Demi Moore.
Nicole Kidman was one of the top 10 highest grossing actors of 2024. There's roles for them, and all of them, they've done work and they look young enough. I guess Michelle Yeoh looks like she's kind of just let herself age as she is. Mm-hmm. But, it's not like Nicole Kidman hasn't probably had some work done. That's sure. Fine. Yeah. So I do feel for the women that get into that business and then...
But it isn't just the women, though.
No.
I've seen it go terribly wrong for men as well. I mean, just look at Matt Gaetz. Like, he looks like an alien.
What did I say?
It's giving Men in Black. And look at Zac Efron before he got his fillers dissolved. Mm-hmm. He looked insane. And then Leonardo DiCaprio almost certainly has gotten injectables, and he looks extremely bloated.
Yeah.
It's not a good choice no matter who you are.
Yeah, I just I feel for them, but it's also it's a certain level of vanity and wanting to be able to control your career as long as possible. I wonder how many of them like kind of like the idea of like, oh, you want me to play the, because remember back in the day 30-year-olds were playing high school characters, and they don't really do that as much anymore.
No,
right?
The 30-year-olds are looking 40.
It's like there's like they wanted you to believe that this guy was in high school. He's got like a bald spot in the back.
That was true for Euphoria. They had all people in their late 20s playing 16-year-olds, and it was just utterly ridiculous.
Yeah, I started. I rewatched the pilot for One Tree Hill last night. It's amazing. Everyone should go watch that show with Chad Michael Murray and James Lafferty and Hilary Burton and Bethany Joy Lenz. They were all in their mid-20s, or but they looked, I guess, like Chad Michael Murray definitely looked like he had to shave every day.
Yeah,
like the 5 o'clock shadow is definitely there.
Yeah,
but
well, there's your Brett recommends.
Yeah, you should watch One Tree Hill. It's a good show. All right, let's move on. What would you like to see? Cringe or cute of the day?
Let's look at cute first.
Cute first? Okay. All right. Here we go. Oh, yes. I do have a nepotism person. Nepo
Skip
cute of
the
the day.
line.
Skip the line. Olivia has submitted toast for cute of the day. We got Toast a biscuit factory home.
That's so cute.
And we put Toast to work.
She loves it.
Unfortunately, Toast then promptly fell asleep on the job.
That's so cute.
Aww. Toast loves her new job, though.
I love it.
Yeah, it's the best. All right, we'll do one more.
She has internalized capitalism.
She does. She's she wants to make money. Well, we have to charge them rent.
Yeah.
Like cat rent. Like we got to pay. If we have to pay, they have to pay.
It's only fair.
It's only fair. All right, this one's from Dead Man. It says Raya still has issues with Valentine, but they're working it out.
Oh no.
Let's see.
Are we about to see a cat fight? I'm waiting for the fight to break out.
There's no fight.
But when they make that sound,
Well,
you know.
Look at the there. Oh, I see it there. It's in the corner there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back and see if maybe it. Do they?
I want to see some action.
There it is. Oh, it's like hiding back here. Raya's like hiding back here.
I hope they'll get along eventually.
Well, I mean, we still have to keep our cats apart, sadly.
It's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate. All right. Let's see. Is the cringe today particularly bad?
It's pretty bad. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Gay men.
Yeah, but we're fan presenting, so we were just shouting it. We were shouting that we were trans gay men because we are.
They're trans gay.
So they're biological women that are okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
What is a trans gay man?
Biologically female, but we're trans men and we're gay. We like guys.
Do you have gender
So it's straight with extra steps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
dysphoria?
Yes, heavily.
But you're still femme presenting?
Yeah, I still fan present.
That's debatable.
I find it comfortable, but at the same time, it does get hard when I can't look mask.
So do you
Not look
mask. Look mask.
Look mask.
Okay.
Yeah.
identify as gay or queer?
As queer.
As queer. That's fair, because you're trans guys, right? That's fair. What about you?
Queer as well.
Queer. What about you?
I am not a trans gay man. I identify as a pansexual.
Yay!
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, that's pretty boring if you ask. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I mean, it's pretty boring to be just a basic lesbian right now.
I can't find other lesbians out there, so.
Right here, girl. Trans.
Ariel was one of the first people I met when I started working
on
here.
IRL.
Like when I first started working at Timcasts. So, all right, very
The heavy hitting on the ground
journalism.
reporting.
That's what people want these days. All
The
right,
trans gay men.
let's get started then.
Meghan Markle's new lifestyle show, With Love Meghan, just released on Netflix, and so far it is getting almost universally panned by critics and viewers alike. So far, The Guardian has published, "Kiss the Netflix deal goodbye. With love, Meghan is so pointless it might be the Sussex's last TV show." He says, "The new show probably won't turn things around for her unless the broader public suddenly develops a hankering for long-form TV programs about a woman filling children's party bags with seeds and Manuka honey." She also was called Thirsty, and her show was called Joyless. Nobody wants to see Meghan making decorative ladybird crostini with Mindy Kaling. But I believe there is an audience for this, and it's hate watching. It's hate watching at its finest.
It depends on how. I mean, it's still up in the air and debatable about how effective hate watching actually is. Now, there's guilty pleasure watching, which is very different than hate watching.
Oh.
For
me, hate watching is a guilty pleasure.
Hate
so I
watching
guess I
hate watching is Velma. Hate watching is Velma. Guilty pleasure watching is 90 Day Fiance and
okay. Just
those
trashy
reality
shows.
TV shows. That's like, you don't even necessarily, like, I don't believe in the concept of guilty pleasure watching anyways. Like whatever you want and tell everybody else to F off. Who cares? But this is the type of thing where it's not guilty pleasure watching, because there's the idea that there's actual pleasure in watching it.
Sure.
And I don't know if anybody believes that there's actual pleasure in watching.
But people take great joy in dunking on Meghan Markle, and this gives them all the ammunition they'll need for the next year at least.
I have noticed in like weird increments, my timeline on X ends up being a bunch of people dunking on her, and I recognize, like, it's names that only show up when talking about her, right?
Yeah.
And there's such glee in their derision.
They specialize
like
in
there's nothing
Meghan Markle
other
dunking.
than maybe like my joking dunking on Bob Dylan, but like I don't care enough about Bob Dylan to like tweet about him.
Sure.
Like I care enough to mention it during the show if it comes up, but I would never like take time out of my day and use of my thumbs to like spend to put out multiple tweets in a day. Granted, I guess he's not really putting anything out in the public sphere to make it relevant, but there's nobody that I can think of that I care enough about, like that I hate so much that I get gleeful about dunking on that specific person. Now there's like franchises or like stupid choices that get made, but that's not about one specific person.
Yeah, there's definitely a Meghan Markle hate fan club.
Yeah.
Another review says Meghan Markle is less Martha Stewart, more Marie Antoinette in her new out-of-touch Netflix show With Love, Meghan. And she's also simultaneously launched the first product line with As Ever while her show is popping off. She says on her website, As Ever is more than a brand. It's a love language. Created by Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. She is all too happy to use that title now that she isn't saddled with any of the responsibilities.
Didn't she say the other day that Sussex is her last name or something?
Yes, she's hammering that home for everyone. As Ever welcomes you to a collection of products, each inspired by Meghan's long-lasting love of cooking, entertaining, and hostessing with ease. This is crafted to elevate your everyday and inspire moments of joy. And she is now selling raspberry spread, limited edition wildflower honey, flower-shaped sprinkles, many different flavors of tea, shortbread cookie mix, and crepe mix.
Does she
on
have
her website?
Does she have a makeup line?
She really should. We brought this up the other day. Instead of trying to sell yourself as a Martha Stewart, just do what everyone else is doing. Have a fragrance. Have a makeup line.
There's just nobody buys, and I would almost feel bad if this was true. Like her whole life she's loved baking. But if it is true, then you've hired the absolute worst people on earth to try and put it across authentically. Mm-hmm. It's just that nobody believes. It's like what they did is they, like, some agent or manager plopped down a list of like female approved niches that you can have in the industry. You have your makeup niche, you have your cooking niche, you have I guess clothing, what else?
Fragrances.
Like they plop those down in front of her. And
maybe
like,
a memoir.
Yeah.
A poetry book.
And she's like, I choose this one.
Yeah.
And they're like, why? Do you love cooking? She's like, not really. But
we can convince people of anything.
like it
We
just
have a 20 from
it just
Weary
comes
Traveler.
off as inauthentic.
Trans gay man, congrats to the CIA on a flawless victory. We have been completely demoralized. Yeah, whatever they're doing is working. Another review claimed that Markle failed to reimagine the genre of lifestyle programming with her new series. Another says this show is an exercise in narcissism filled with extravagant brunches, celebrity pals, and business plugs.
Well, then that's the problem. They should be leaning into that. They should make it really, really, really like intentionally self-absorbed rather than accidentally self-absorbed. They should have shots where she's like going to meet Mindy Kaling for lunch at a restaurant, and she like touches a regular person and like goes like this.
Ugh. She like shudders in disgust.
And like
Or no,
like
she
asks,
like goes on a luxury spa day with Brigitte Macron.
yeah. And
Goes to get facial feminization surgery with Brigitte Macron.
and asks security to please not allow people to breathe on her.
Yeah.
Or something. Like,
Yeah.
again,
Lean into
play
it.
play to your strengths. Like, you can have Gwyneth Paltrow on there. She was just talking
yeah.
about how
That would
she
be a hit.
drank herself through the Palisade fires.
Yeah. Go off.
In fact, you know what? Get drunk with Gwyneth Paltrow and just record it on your phone.
That'd be so good. I would be seated for that.
Like, everyone
Absolutely.
would tune in. I mean, I wouldn't because I don't care. But women would tune in to that shit.
Exactly.
Women
yeah.
would love, women and gay men would love that shit.
Oh, of course.
Like-
I know I myself would love that shit.
Get drunk with rich, vapid celebrities and talk bad about people.
Yeah.
That's what you should
like,
do.
we all know that's what you're doing in private
Like
anyway.
if John Cena can turn heel in the year in the, what did they say in the year of our Lord 2025, if John Cena can turn heel, then you can do it now and reap the benefits. And then what I think you should do is you should write like a surrealist memoir where it's not actually like overdo it and talk about how much you hate everyone. And that you can sell it in the fiction section, but sell it as like a fake memoir. And it's just like you playing Meghan Markle. You know what it is? Make Meghan Markle, Duchess of Sussex, a character. Like divorce Meghan Markle, Duchess of Sussex, from Meghan Markle, the actual person.
Right, but she refuses to retire that brand because she wants the clout that comes with it and none of the expectations of etiquette and responsibility and discretion. I just sent you an article about this. I know it may be hard to believe that with the amount of hate Meghan Markle receives online, she has a dedicated fan base.
I mean, that's
but she actually has a whole army of them here in this selfie. Meghan Markle surprised a group of her longtime fans at a special screening of her new Netflix series, With Love, Meghan, in the Lower East Side. Here she is soy-facing with all of these white women.
Is that wine or cognac? That's like right on brand.
They're just loving every minute of it. Do you see this?
Like the amount of SSRI and Xanax in that photo is just...
I see one man.
That's a Pfizer ad right
Someone
there.
brought their husband. The rest of them are a bunch of single women in their 20s and 30s.
That is a Pfizer ad if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, the mRNA is palpable through the screen. Thank you.
That one actually scared me.
I'm just basking in the glory of it. So yeah, I mean, apparently she has actual fans. This is a selfie of her and all 12 of her fans.
Sorry, I can't. This lady right here has just... There are some stories with her and her exes that she's nuts.
The world has done a number on her.
I guarantee you that she has written some Facebook posts, man, and
Yeah.
they are insane.
She's like, look at me with the commoners.
Oh.
Now, a couple of clips from With Love, Meghan have been making the rounds on X and getting a lot of attention. First of all, Meghan is shown in this one clip berating Mindy Kaling for saying that her last name is Markle instead of Sussex. But let's take a look here at a compilation of her worst moments.
The world knows that Meghan Markle has eaten Jack in the Box. and loves it. It's so funny, too, that you keep saying Meghan Markle. You know I'm Sussex now. You have kids, and you go, no, I share my name with my children.
Yes.
And that feels so, I didn't know how meaningful it would be to me, but it just means so much to go, this is our family name. Husband and 3 dogs. It's not my perfume that's bringing them all in. My bacon brings all the boys to the yard.
And
Like, just stop. Just stop.
endlessly variable. And it's got a lot of magic in it.
I feel like you're watching.
I'm sorry, but the real version of her of this before is her like, oh, nobody wants to come to the kitchen until the food is ready. Nobody helps clean the dish. Like, unless there is a compilation of her like muttering under her breath angrily about having to do the dishes, it's fake.
And her cutting her finger open and
Yes.
screaming the F word.
We fall in love. It's very, very awkward.
I mean, let's be real. Like, I don't know if she makes her own food anyways.
No.
So.
No.
I'm so sorry. I'm blushing.
Megan, I want to ask about your look.
My who?
Your look. Your look, Megan.
Oh, my Luke.
Your look. Did I not say it right?
I don't know. I mean, like, you're way cooler than I am. I don't know what you're talking. My Luke. My
Yes.
look. She likes my Luke.
Your look.
Oh my gosh.
Your fashion is like one of my favorite things.
No, it's not.
Like, just that still.
They both look really uncomfortable.
This still of Meghan Markle being like, oh, shucks, you stop it. Stop complimenting me, please. But keep going.
They both look really uncomfortable. Like, okay, there have been days, like, during this show where everybody's had these days, like, when you do a show and you think you have more to say than you do, and then it feels like you're out in an island. And you know what I'm talking about, right? Like, everyone's been there and the vibe is just a little bit off. That's this whole thing feels like the worst podcast episode you've ever seen.
And here they are in a kitchen that doesn't belong to Meghan Markle and pretending to be BFFs when they just met each other a few hours before they started filming. And you have Mindy Kaling just showering her with praise.
What they need to do next is they need to get her and then Rachel Ray comes down and they start fighting. And then Martha Stewart's music hits and she comes down with the steel chair.
Now, here is a tip if you want to hostess the way that Meghan does. That is indispensable. Take pre-packaged food and you put it in a different package.
Put all of our energy into making those. This, we're just gonna put into a different peanut butter pretzels. I've been eating these forever and I love these so much.
She doesn't even sound like she believes that. She doesn't sound like she's ever eaten a peanut butter pretzel in her entire life.
Like, why are you whispering? And just put some twine on that.
Daniel loves peanut butter. I'm still gonna label this. You always want to be conscious if someone has a nut allergy.
See, the better version, she's like, I don't give a fuck if they have a nut allergy. like, bring your EpiPen, loser. Like, that's what she should be saying.
I'm packing this all up so I can take it home and prep the guest room. And now everything's ready for Daniel's arrival tonight. I can't wait.
So that was a little charcuterie board, I guess, that she put together for her gay best friend's sleepover. Take pretzels out of the labeled bag and put them into an unlabeled bag.
Yeah.
And then label the unlabeled bag.
Yeah.
She is a veritable Ina Garten.
I mean, I know that when we have people over, I switch out the Walmart bags that are in our garbage cans for the Target ones.
Yeah, that's a real tip.
That's a real tip.
Right
If you
there.
want to seem high class, put the Target bags in the garbage in your garbage can.
Now, here is where the hate kind of jumped the shark for me. Every outfit inside Meghan Markle's $170,000 wardrobe for her new Netflix show.
I mean, this was my favorite
This
part.
person must have stayed up all night looking up where her clothes come from and how much each one of them costs, putting them together in a listicle and calculating the final number, the final price tag. So it's true. I mean, they did clock her for this, but I don't think it's fair. I think that Meghan Markle, despite trying to seem relatable, definitely is an out-of-touch elite. However, would we be saying, like, Melania Trump is wearing clothes that are too expensive and they don't match,
but
they aren't befitting of the office of the First Lady?
But one of the things is that Trump doesn't like pretend like being rich is bad or trying to be relatable.
Exactly. That's the disconnect.
He just is.
Here is that the Trumps have never pretended to be relatable middle-class people.
Correct.
Meghan Markle's problem is that she keeps trying to convince people that she's like them while she's wearing Gucci loafers. Yeah. We have a 20 from Porco Rosso Forever. As a representative of the dudes leaving comments community, I'd like to say would. About Meghan Markle?
I mean, is that such a big statement?
No.
2025?
No. I mean, she's an attractive lady. Just as much as people try to dunk on her.
Get the hell out of there as quickly as possible when you're done.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. She's wearing Cartier. She is wearing all of these designer brands in her show. But, you know, sometimes she wears a watch from Zara, and that's really down to earth of her.
Yeah.
They just, I don't know. Is this like what they were going for?
I mean, I don't know if there was the, we talked at one point that, like, she showed up one day to a meeting and they expected her to have ideas about her podcast.
Yeah.
And she just assumed they were just going to have the ideas for her.
It became a row because she was meeting with these producers and expect them to come up with all the ideas for her content when she has none because she has no personality.
Yeah.
And they had to kind of concoct one at the last minute, and this is what they came up with. It's not going so well for them.
It's not.
I really think she should hire you as a consultant.
I could get her
You
back
would
on
work
track.
wonders for her.
I could get her back
truly.
on track.
If she were willing to follow orders, but she won't take direction.
Yeah.
She wants all of the other people to make up the ideas, but she won't take direction.
I think she has alt accounts.
To snoop on people?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think that Meghan Markle runs one of her own hate accounts.
Think so?
I bet she's cyberbullying herself.
I don't know if I believe that. I believe that she could totally have alt accounts supporting her.
That too. She's hiring bot armies.
Yeah, I could.
But then again, you see this picture of her with her fans, and you realize there are actually people out there who like her.
That photo was amazing. That
yeah.
I need to know the life story of this woman. Right
that
here.
one specifically. She's sort of like that girl in the Rolling Stone cover of the TikTok party, the Cruel Kids table.
Yeah.
She just really stands out. She really pops.
The medicated kids table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's read some super chats.
All right, let's do that.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Happy Ash Wednesday, Brett and Mary. Mary, glad to see someone's ashes look like a cross. Mine do too if you squint really hard. LOL. Pray for the gongo." Yeah, just know all of the fasting and almsgiving that we engage in during the Lenten season, it's all for the gongo and the Gonganese struggle.
If you don't know what that is, you should have been here yesterday. What is your problem? What are you even doing here?
Let me see. Does it look like a cross to you? It's kind of missing one side.
Pretty
close.
I mean, it looks like a greater than symbol now.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
okay.
my hair is rubbing it off too, but
okay.
that's the point. It's disfiguring your face. High Voltage 75 said, "I gave up super chatting for Lent." Oops.
Oops.
That's the one thing you're not allowed to do. Actually, the Pope said that.
He said you should super chat more over the next 40 days.
The Pope actually said, I don't know if you missed the memo, you're not allowed to give up super chatting for Lent. You're actually required.
You have to give up not super chatting for Lent.
Yeah. You have to tithe the show. DC&C said, "Are you allowed to wash your face, Mares, or does the ash have to stay on your forehead for 40 days? It is just for Ash Wednesday that you're supposed to keep the ashes on. For the rest, you're actually, that was from scripture today. You are supposed to wash your face and anoint yourself with oil as to not be a hypocrite who is showing off how miserable you are while you're fasting. You're supposed to keep it in secret."
Yeah. Let's do one more.
High Voltage 75 said, "Why is fish not considered meat?" That's a good question, and a question that I've had myself.
Why is fish considered good? That's the real question.
Wrong question. Wrong question.
Let's move on then. Let's talk about Alec Baldwin. Everybody loves talking about Alec Baldwin.
Another new reality TV show for a horrible person that no one likes. Alec Baldwin just premiered the first episodes of his new TLC show, The Baldwins, which focuses on his day-to-day family life. And instead of just some lighter fare, they decided to focus the first 2 episodes on the trauma that he suffered as a result of the Rust shooting. By the way, he pulled the trigger, but he is instead making this about himself. How he is actually the most affected by a bullet flying through someone else and killing them. So now that the show is out, it's not being received well, and Gloria Allred, the lawyer which represents Helena Hutchins' family, has made a statement in response to the show, saying, it is long overdue for Alec Baldwin to admit and face the real-life consequences that he caused Helena's parents and sister. It is time for him to face reality under oath. Why is he claiming that he has PTSD? Is his reality show just a veiled attempt to create sympathy for himself with a future jury pool in our civil case?
Okay,
Is this just a shameless attempt to portray him as the real victim in this case?
I can believe that a truly feeling person can experience extreme remorse for doing something like what happened with Alec Baldwin. Do I believe that that is the case here? No. And do I believe that that is a smart choice for a storyline for a TV show which is trivializing all of what happened? Absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, didn't he even say on camera that he didn't feel remorse for it?
Wasn't it like that, like, I didn't do it, so I don't have any remorse?
Right.
Because he's like, the gun just went off.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Because guns just do that magically. People in Hollywood believe that at
They
least.
do. They believe that, like, somehow, like, they were struggling and the gun just went off.
What crazy, right? The statement from Gloria Allred also notes that Alec Baldwin never called or tried to contact Helena Hutchins' parents or sister to say that he was sorry. And to this day, he has never taken responsibility for Helena's death.
Okay, so I guarantee you that as soon as this happened, the first thing he did was call a lawyer. And the first thing that lawyer said was, you cannot say you're sorry.
Yeah, it's like when you get into a fender bender.
You do not say, oh.
You do not say sorry. You ask the person if they were okay. You exchange insurance information. Yeah. Alec Baldwin just took that sentiment to a whole new level.
He did. I believe he had a meeting with her husband, like, right after.
Yes, they did. But has not made any effort to contact her family members other than her husband since then. But yeah, this is a major plot point that they've kind of scripted into the TLC show. Alec is seen in one of these episodes saying, "This has just been surreal. I mean, I can't even believe that we're going through this." Even that you're framing it that way, like, I'm going through something. "And I always feel more in pain about you than me," referring to his wife, "because I think to myself, you know, I'm going to try my best to just get through it. And I think what it's done to you and how much it's hurt you and everything. This past year was just terrible. There were times I'd lay in bed, I'd go, wow, my kids, I can't get up. That's not like me. I'm not like that at all. Not in any way am I like that. Never." And then he's talking to his fitness instructor during the show, who then told the cameras that the shift in Alec Baldwin's mood became apparent after he was charged with involuntary manslaughter. He got off on that charge, but he's still possibly going to be found liable in a civil case from Helena's family for the negligence among safety protocols on set.
And the thing here is, like, Prop Master told him there was blanks in the gun. He claims that he didn't even pull the trigger, but as the producer on the film, it is up to him to make sure that all protocols are met and standards are reached.
The buck stops with you.
The buck stops with you, right? So even if 100% of what he's saying is true, even if he feels all of this guilt, that doesn't mean you make content out of it.
No, but this was just opportunistic, right?
Yes.
This is him trying to rewrite the story about himself and his family in the media. And it's accomplishing the exact opposite of that. And I'm sure TLC is just maniacally laughing about it.
Oh yeah,
the scenes.
they benefit.
This is
more
perfect
than anyone.
for them. Now, Alec Baldwin's wife, his Spanish flame, Hilaria, had a lot to say about how much he's gone through since the Rust shooting, and it's very sad. She says, "Everyone who is close to Alec has seen his mental health decline." No, I'm going to say it in a normal voice. "He was diagnosed with PTSD, and he says in his darkest moments, if an accident had to have happened this day, why am I still here? Why couldn't it have been me?" Yep. You wake up in the morning and you're like, why did I wake up? She went on to tell Alec, who recalled not knowing how to answer a friend who asked how he was doing. He said to his friend, "I'm happier when I'm asleep than when I'm awake." Hilaria also says in the show, "I found these text messages the other day between us from the day after the shooting." And she says that Alec Baldwin claimed he wanted to kill himself. This is sort of like when Chris Cuomo got fired. He said that he wanted to commit murder-suicide.
Yeah.
And then he said that it's just because he's Italian and passionate.
You don't understand.
You wouldn't understand if you're not Italian. Sometimes you just feel like murder-suicide.
He says, "I'm not a pervert, I'm just Italian."
Yeah, exactly. Hilaria says in one of these confessional interviews that Alec has survivor's guilt. You're involved in this thing that nobody could even possibly imagine. And so it goes back to that day. He wishes it were him. He would trade places with Helena Hutchins in a second, claims Hilaria.
Survivor's guilt is a very real thing. Compassion and guilt are very, very real things. Nothing in the way this case is handled or his behavior in general throughout his career has ever indicated to me that he's a person like that. But again, that's just my opinion from the sidelines.
She continued, "This has affected his health and his mental health tremendously."
I feel like if it did, you wouldn't turn it into content. I feel like if it was affecting your mental health and it was actually harming you, you would not turn it into something that you had to also add the pressure of using it for material in a show. You would focus on doing it and getting better.
Right.
Right?
The past few years, all of a sudden, he has started having heart problems. He has been hospitalized multiple times. Hilaria also revealed that Alec has fainted since the Rust shooting. He's having fainting spells. They need to get smelling salts for him.
Maybe he's just old.
He has servants that deliver a fainting couch to him every time that he's about to pass out. We have a 20 from Jose Quintana. "A good Lent to you, Ghost Empress, Optical Overlord. I want to see Daredevil Born Again, but don't want to put money in Disney's coffers. I am pulled by unseen forces. Empress, you should annex Gongo and declare supremacy. Long live PCC."
I will say that nothing about Daredevil Born Again is worth spending the money. Like, I would tell you, like, if it was something that was, like, I actually believe that the shows that I watch, if you like the procedurals, like I do, like, if you like classic Hollywood procedurals, I think High Potential is worth the subscription to Hulu, at least for a month to check it out. If that's your type of show, if you like superhero shows and you love Daredevil seasons 1 through 3, this show is not worth the Disney Plus subscription to get.
What is on Disney Plus anyway?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff on Disney Plus. I don't use it. We don't use it very much. Like
anything that you can watch on Disney Plus is also available on Tubi. So.
I mean, the Marvel stuff isn't, and that's what I'm assuming a lot of people.
No, I'm telling you. I've checked.
Tubi.
I've checked. It's available on Tubi. Now, Alec Baldwin maintains to this day that he did not pull the trigger, and he was completely unaware that the gun was loaded with a live bullet. But he is now being deposed for questioning in the civil lawsuit launched by Helena Hutchins' family. That was launched back in February of 2023, before he was acquitted of involuntary manslaughter. But they still at least want to find him civilly liable for his negligence of safety protocols on set. And that's why Gloria Allred has made these public statements.
Like, not even the capacity of him as the actor holding the gun where the buck stops with you as the one with the firearm in your hand, but as the one who produced this movie, created the poor power structure that allowed such an inexperienced Nepo hire for armorer to end up on set and put you in such a dangerous position to begin with. Again, what's her name? Hannah Gutierrez-Reed is being punished, is in jail. You need to be held responsible for creating such a poor environment at work.
It's absolutely ridiculous
to happen.
Isn't she still serving time currently? Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous that the armorer, the Nepo armorer, is facing consequences for this, but the person who actually fired the gun isn't. Like, this is why people think that our justice system is a joke and that there's a double standard.
I mean, I'm guessing that the logic from the average
judge
person...
was, like, talking about how, like, we're not going to give special treatment to celebrities.
I'm guessing the average person is supposed to believe that, like, as the actor, it's not his job to know about firearms. It's the armorer's job to know about firearms and check before giving it to him. But
it's
again,
even weird the way it all happened.
But again, that's like anybody knows that you don't joke around about firearms.
No.
You treat every firearm as if it's loaded. You double check, and nobody did that.
It's even weirder to think about the fact that this didn't occur during filming.
Yeah,
it was off set, or it was on set, but it was not during the filming of a scene in the movie. He was jokingly pointing it at her. Why would that even happen in the first place? We knew from sources that worked on the movie that they didn't get along and had a tense relationship to begin with. So, I don't know, knowing what we know about that situation, as well as Alec Baldwin's reputation for being a heartless scumbag, even to his own children, and having anger issues... I personally think it's plausible that it was not just involuntary manslaughter, that it was first degree. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Antonia's block is correct. They're not supposed to point real guns directly at actors. Yeah, they use what's called a non-gun in Hollywood for shots. Like if you ever see a scene where somebody points a gun at somebody and they're really close up next to their face, that's not a real weapon. It's usually either a functional non-gun or it's a rubber gun.
Right.
Doing those. So just no.
I don't know what, like I think that everyone who's familiar with firearms knows you're not supposed to jokingly point it at someone.
No.
Like that's basic, like that's below 101 gun etiquette. I don't know.
It's the thing, like again, my biggest issue is that you can't cry about the emotional toll it's taken on you and then turn it into content.
Literally enriching yourself off of someone else's misfortune.
Yep. All right, let's do some more super chats.
Shane H. Wilder said, I'm giving up snacks, using that cash to buy non-perishables for the St. Vincent de Paul Society and doing the Hallow Pray 40. Mary, once you start praying the rosary daily, you won't stop. Well, that's not true, actually. I prayed the rosary daily for quite a while back in 2021, and I did actually stop. Not that I don't pray it ever anymore, but I should get back into the habit. Everyone who's participating in Lent, drop in the chat. Let us know what you're giving up or what you're doing for Lent. It says 72% are not participating currently. We'll close the poll later. DCNC said, Bredio, want to put a wager on whether Kathleen Kennedy is still working for Lucas/Disney by the end of the year.
I don't care. So no.
You think that she'll leave?
I think she'll probably still be there by the end of the year.
They'll give her a new contract?
I don't know if she'll get a new contract, but I don't know if she's going to be gone by like January 1st, 2026. I'm sure a lot of people would love that. Yeah. If that were true. I mean, I was like, maybe the reason they released all that stuff about Kathleen Kennedy was because Brave New World was bombing and they wanted to change the headlines. Like the same people that would talk about Brave New World just getting eaten at the box office and not making any money are the same people that would also talk about Kathleen Kennedy and Order of Succession over at Lucasfilm.
It's just funny that people would interpret that as an ideological decision when in reality it probably just means there are internal politics at Disney where, you know, she's making demands that they don't want to meet and they'll replace her with someone who's just as bad or worse for Lucasfilm.
I mean, I think she's got pictures of like Kevin Feige like hanging out with Elon Musk or she's got pictures of Bob Iger and Elon Musk
Does she have a Bob
playing
Iger
patty
voodoo
cake
doll?
or something.
Do you think Kathleen Kennedy has a Bob Iger voodoo doll?
Probably.
I bet. Kenneth Hart said, did y'all see the movie Clear and Present Danger?
Yes.
I did not.
It's good.
What'd you think?
Would
I like
I
it?
love all of those Jack Ryan movies. Like they're all, especially the Harrison Ford ones. I like Some of All Fears, but I like the Harrison Ford. Like I like it because it's politics of a different time. Like I like stories where the IRA was relevant. Like remember that? Like
kids these days don't know.
Because I was young, right? Like it's like imagine like talking about it and like the serious threat of the IRA. Because it was, what was it, 92 when that movie came out? 93? It was good times.
Ad Victorium said, from the forest through the trees in the gongo, I will pee. Beautiful. Poetic.
And I'm not speaking about Clear and Present Danger for that specifically. I'm talking about Patriot Games, which I really, really love.
Surenko Productions said, the butt dress for the male gaze, not the male gaze.
Correct.
Yeah, why are women wearing this? Shouldn't gay men be wearing the butt dress?
Let's do one more.
Mr. Sogeny said Pfizer's strongest warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's true.
Pfizer gives its toughest battles to its strongest soldiers. We know.
All right, let's move on.
It's been a minute since we provided any updates on the Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni legal battle. But the newest one is that Taylor Swift is reportedly about to be deposed for questioning in the Blake Lively lawsuit. I thought this was incredibly unlikely, but I think that Brian Friedman, Justin Baldoni's attorney, is following through on his promise. And he merely hinted at it, but Taylor Swift is definitely someone who has a lot of connections with these people. She's been friends with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds for a long time now. She's also the godmother of one of their children, so they're basically family.
Yep.
She doesn't want to speak out on this. She's remained silent through the entire thing. And interestingly enough, you'll recall back when Blake Lively initially launched her complaint against Baldoni, Sony and Colleen Hoover and all of these other celebrities were coming out in her favor. And that changed very quickly, within like a week or less.
Yeah, it was about a week.
And even during that first week when public sentiment was on Blake Lively's side,
right as the holidays
Taylor
started.
Swift didn't say anything in her favor.
Yeah.
She didn't come out to support Blake Lively, so she must have known something that the rest of us didn't know from behind the scenes. Now,
I mean, or she's just playing it safe and wants to be in his few legal battles that she has to be in.
Yeah, I mean, but then that's seen as being a fair weather friend, right?
I mean, it sucks that they're kind of in a world where your private life has to become part of the public life, I suppose.
So she's possibly going to get questioned under oath about this situation. And I want to know her side of the story about the alleged apartment meeting.
Ambush.
Regarding the rooftop scene, the ambush that took place on Justin Baldoni.
I would like to believe that what's actually happening is they stage it like this. I'm picturing them in like some type of like sunroom, and there's like open doors, and Taylor's just walking by with the script, going like this.
She's like kind of flipping through it, adding her notes where they may belong. Well, I think that Taylor Swift, in reality, didn't know that she was part of this whole Blake Lively ambush. My theory is that Blake invited her strategically so that she would walk in the door around the time that Baldoni was leaving as an intimidation tactic. Basically, look at these famous people that I'm friends with and how much power we have. And my husband has so much power in this industry, and you're basically a nobody. So just keep that in mind when you're reading through my work. Have only positive things to say about it.
Yeah.
That's what I think happened. But they say, in an embarrassing new blow for Blake Lively, Taylor Swift will be subpoenaed to be questioned under oath as part of the ongoing Lively versus Baldoni lawsuit, according to a source close to the legal action. Taylor Swift has been friends with Lively for over a decade, and was mentioned in legal filings by both sides in the increasingly bitter dispute sparked during the making of the last summer box office hit It Ends With Us. The same source also confirms that the first group of potential witnesses, which Baldwin's team want to hear from, have been contacted and are due to give evidence on an as-yet unscheduled date, with more depositions to come. Potential witnesses are understood to include Taylor Swift, but also co-stars from It Ends With Us, Jenny Slate, who played Blake Lively's sister-in-law in the movie, and Isabella Ferrer, who played the younger version of Blake Lively's character in the movie. You have screenshots of Isabella Ferrer texting Justin Baldoni, praising him for creating a welcoming environment on set and a safe space. She's a Gen Z actress.
Because he's obsessed with it being safe. Like,
Exactly.
he needs to make sure that everybody's happy. And oddly enough, that type of personality is probably very accommodating to Gen Z, but probably just annoys the hell out of typical self-starting Hollywood people.
Exactly. I just think that
they're like, oh, this
Gen
dude just needs everything to be nice.
Right. The Gen Zer on set loved feeling welcomed and safe and accommodated and catered to at all times. Whereas everyone else who is an actual adult felt patronized by it and thought that he was being overly familiar. That's one of my, maybe my biggest pet peeve in social situations, and is when someone acts overly familiar. Someone acts like they're buddy-buddy with you.
Like somebody you don't know very well?
Yeah, when there's no precedent for it. When someone is making jokes that they're not at liberty to crack and trying to rib you when they don't even know you well enough to have ammunition.
Yeah.
It's like, we're not friends like that. It seems like a similar thing that Baldoni was doing, just this horrible, syrupy, sickly, sweet approach.
Everybody's met that person at a party.
Which is not leadership.
Yeah.
I think that this could be a learning opportunity for him. He just
turns into a drill instructor, and from now on, every movie he's like, get to your marks now.
If
Look happy.
If he had acted like Michael Bay on the set of It Ends With Us, none of this would have happened. He could have avoided a whole lot of legal fees and heartache if he had just bossed people around, but he wasn't willing to do that.
I remember hearing this story from Nerdstalgic about how when they were after Transformers 1 was super successful and Transformers 2 was announced, and then the writer's strike started to loom, Michael Bay took both of the writers and locked them in a hotel room for 3 weeks.
You're not allowed
Finish
to
the
leave.
movie.
See,
I like the idea that every time they try to leave, he pulls the door back shut. He's not gonna.
He's hired private security to keep them in there.
I like the idea. He's like, look, to be fair, I wouldn't do anything I wouldn't do. He's in the room across the hall, but he's making phone calls to executives. He's working with visual effects, and every time one of them wants to go get ice from the ice machine, he's like, get back in the room. Do it.
I think that Justin Baldoni needed to channel some of that energy.
Megan Fox isn't getting any younger.
No. No. I mean, literally, Megan Fox compared him to Hitler. If we could just have a happy medium between Justin Baldoni and Hitler, everyone would be happy.
That would be right. Amazing.
Unfortunately, that's just not how things transpired. And you also drew my attention to this. Former employee on the set of It Ends With Us who worked with Justin Baldoni spoke out, claiming that some of Justin Baldoni's actions in and out of the office felt performative. Quote, "It was constant positivity all the time. I would say toxic positivity. I'm always a little dubious of people who advertise themselves as disruptors of the status quo.
Toxic positivity is
quote unquote good people. It felt phony."
Toxic positivity is one of the most. There's a couple of people that I have a couple of friends that are genuinely like that. But I say that because they're like that in the real world, and their online footprint doesn't indicate anything of that nature. It's just how they are. Mm-hmm. But the ones where it comes through the most is you see it online.
Justin Baldoni is an empath. People who call themselves empaths. Like, he's one of those people. That's why I can't be on his side. They also gave an official statement from Wayfarer Studios in response to a lot of the anonymous complaints about how annoying they are. They said there have never been any reported complaints regarding our workplace culture or any communicated issues regarding the platforms of its founders, specifically their weirdo Baha'i religion. If any guidance was ever provided to employees of how to conduct their written correspondence, it was to ensure that the activities of employees remained professional and aligned with the ethos of the company. Wayfarer believes that joy and positivity are the essence of good work, and they stand by this statement.
See, the worst is like now that that type of messaging has inflicted politics. Like when Kamala Harris talks about joy, what does that even mean in the context of public policy? Like, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it's performative. It's exactly the toxic positivity mindset that people are sick of. And I think that Justin Baldoni has an opportunity to rethink the way that he approaches his work and his professional relationships. And instead of being a fuzzy, wuzzy teddy bear, he can actually be a leader. Yeah.
He's going to have to worry about that CIA agent that Blake Lively just hired, though.
He's like allergic to being a man. Like, that's what's most frustrating about this.
I mean,
there are all of these there are all of these people who are largely aligned with the right, who are skeptical of Me Too, and they're taking Baldoni's side, not realizing that he brought this upon himself in a huge way.
I would say that given the fact that he seems to, again, this is from the perspective of somebody that has no idea what it's like behind the scenes, but seems to have a wife that loves him and kids that love him and takes care of his family and spends time with his kids. Like, he does that side of it. Like, but that's, again, Hollywood doesn't celebrate that side of manhood.
Right.
So oddly enough, he's actually doing that side well. The problem is all the other stuff is like very, very kind of fake looking and fake seeming.
It is. I mean, I have a hard time believing anyone is genuinely like spreading rainbows and positivity and joy all the time. Like, everyone has bad days, and this is phony. Now, while Baldoni seems to be winning in his fight with Blake Lively at the moment, he might lose to the New York Times, which is not as much of a surprise. They
never lose lawsuits.
In how many years?
It was like
many decades. Yeah. They have not been found liable for libel in many decades, and they are armed to the teeth with lawyers. So they just had a request for a delay of discovery granted by Judge Lyman, and they say in this statement, to the extent that Wayfarer are concerned about a delay, they have within their power to accelerate the amended complaint or their opposition to the motion to dismiss. Wayfarer parties themselves suggest that discovery from the New York Times is unlikely to be voluminous. I disagree. I think that they were very clearly in collusion with Blake Lively beforehand, and even people who found out more information on TikTok can see that.
I mean, how much of it, though, is like, depending on who you're suing higher up, there's like plausible deniability. Like with I guess the reporter isn't the one who's held liable, it's the paper itself.
Right.
That's held liable. So,
like, would the next move to be suing the journalist individually? Because she very clearly knew what she was doing. The timing of it all is just way too conspicuous. And I don't hope to see Baldoni lose, but it wouldn't make me lose any sleep. Yeah. Exactly. I think this is just desserts.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm a true hater.
You are. I would like to see him win here. I would. Yeah? I do. Just because, newspapers colluding. Everything's fake. Everything is fake and nothing is real. And 90% of what you see from Hollywood is all PR and collusion with newspapers. Whether it's an actor showing up with a fake bruise to make sure TMZ catches a photo of it, or all of the ways in which stuff is leaked to the press. Wouldn't bother me if the press didn't pretend to be bastions of truth and honesty, which I despise because they're not. Like, we're not talking about pundits. Pundits are different. Like, CNN can say what they want, I guess, but most of the time it's idiot pundits saying these things, not a written article. The written article should be taken to task just like anything else. If it's somebody, masquerading as a journalist, call them out as bullshit. But most of the time when we're making fun of CNN or MSNBC, it's some dorky talking head who doesn't really know what they're talking about or just lies. As it does a lot of the time, and the news has been fake and propaganda for a very, very long time, and I would like to see them and the celebrities that want to use it against people taken to task, even if the person who's doing the suing is less than the most
sympathetic
Sympathetic character.
Maybe what I'm hoping for is that he wins the New York Times lawsuit, but
then they throw him in a locker and take his lunch money.
No, maybe the Lively situation will result in some kind of dismissal or more likely a settlement out of court.
Did you see the lady? Oh, go ahead.
Well, I wanted to note that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds were not at the Oscars.
Yeah.
I think that's interesting that they stayed home. Were they not invited?
I'm sure they were.
Because they both had huge movies this year.
Wait, weren't they
past year
doing? Oh no, that was SNL the week before.
They were at SNL 50.
The week
so they've
before.
made a public appearance. They just didn't go to the Oscars.
Yeah.
I'm sure if they were welcome there, they would have shown up.
Yeah. No. Maybe.
It's weird. And it's also weird to me.
They
that
sit
you
her
can
next
see,
to. They sit him next to Carla Gascon.
Like, yeah, but you can see like Carla Gascon takes a friendly selfie with Mikey Madison, who wins Best Actress. Like nothing ever happened. Like no cancellation occurred. But then Justin Baldoni isn't afforded any of the same welcome.
To be fair, Mikey Madison, if got called out, he'd be like, I didn't even know who it was. I just took the selfie. Sorry.
Yeah, I just thought this was like somebody's uncle.
These hoes ain't loyal.
Let's finish up these super
right.
chats. DC and C. What's up?
I do want to point out that this was the story here. I just laughed at this. In 2008, because of the 2007 writer's strike, Michael Bay reportedly locked screenwriters Roberto Orci, Alex Kurtzman, and Aaron Kruger in a hotel room to crank out the script as fast as possible. They wrote the script in 3 weeks in the hotel room. They described it as an exhausting experience, but they managed to get it done. Sadly, Roberto Orci just passed away.
Yeah.
Like very recently.
Yeah, he did. I'm sure that this
Made great-
experience shaved years off his life.
A lot of people hate Alex Kurtzman for Star Trek, but I like a lot of the other non-Star Trek stuff that Roberto Orci and Alex Kurtzman did. So,
DCNC said Trump voice $4.6 million to trans gay men in the Congo.
That's a real
Yes.
thing. That's a real statistic.
Did you watch any of the address?
So it was really funny. I was going to tweet. I was like, so Olivia's watching Trump address Congress, and I'm watching Wilson Fisk give his acceptance speech as the new mayor of New York in Daredevil Born Again. I was like, if anything was more indicative of our tastes, it's this.
So no, not even a...
We listened to it a little bit in the car on the way home from Costco.
What'd you think?
I thought it was interesting. 2 hours is way too long for me to listen to anybody talk.
The first 5 minutes were fun.
But the
when they kicked out Al Green.
I mean that, and the from everything that I saw, the Democrats made themselves look awful.
Oh my gosh, I don't even know who this was. Some like random congresswoman. She was holding up a whiteboard.
Mm-hmm.
She brought a handheld whiteboard to.
Was that not Rashida Tlaib?
I'm not sure.
Oh.
I didn't get a look at who it was, but she
Asking
was holding
to
up
be
a
memed.
whiteboard to erase it while he's in the middle of his speech to hold up different like clapbacks. So he said, I don't even remember what he said, but she held it up and it was like, that was a lie.
I did see that Hakeem Jeffries apparently begged them not to bring props.
Oh yeah, and they also brought all of these stupid signs that had like true and false sides,
Say
and
what
they were
you-
like, that was false.
War criminal. I'm like, the guy who wants to not put troops on the ground is the war criminal. Like, you people are absolutely beyond the pale now. Not standing for the 13-year-old who beat cancer as he gets his honorary Secret Service title. Like, I get it that that's a bit of a political setup because of the setting, but you stand and you clap no matter what.
Yeah.
Because it's the right thing to do.
And
because it's decorum.
They had like the family members of Corey.
Yep.
I forget how to pronounce his last
And
name.
they did the same thing for Lake and Riley.
And Lake and Riley. And they were just not standing. They were like sitting there with their arms crossed.
And the one,
they
the
also,
one lady
like,
rolled her. The one Michigan congresswoman like rolled her eyes at the story about the 13-year-old with cancer. And you're like, these people are they're locusts. They're evil.
Elizabeth Warren is like sitting here on her phone, like probably drafting a little tweet to clap back, and they pan to her, and they, similar to one of his State of the Union addresses, they like coordinated to dress in all white, right, with the red lipstick and the hoop earrings. Ooh, and then this time they all dressed in pink.
For what? Like what? Like
they're all in pink pantsuits to show him that.
Like, is the idea that that's in support of women because you didn't support women's sports or women not getting like attacked by biological men?
And this chick, they panned to this chick whose face was paralyzed from a biological man spiking her with a volleyball.
Yep.
And it's like so sad because you realize we had to get to this point.
Yeah.
You know, like we really had to let it go this far before we did anything.
The sad thing is, though, is like to us, it's because we work in the sphere, so we know that this stuff is going on. A good portion of the average voter doesn't know any of that happened.
Yeah, but it's literally like a scene from Lady Ballers. Like, it's not even really satire if you think about it. Like that actually happened.
They're all just like. I have a lot of disdain for all politicians, and I try to be as neutral as possible because I think for the most part, especially at the federal level, very few of them have your best interests at heart. I think that any good that's being done now, like the joke was the other day, I was like, Congress people clapping for Doge exposing all of this like wasteful spending, even though they're all the people that approve the wasteful spending.
Right.
Like they're all scumbags on some level and they're all getting something at your own expense. But it's very hard to not sound partisan when you can't even do the bare minimum of standing for the 13-year-old cancer survivor as he gets his honorary Secret Service title.
And just the coordinated outfits was the last straw for me.
Yeah.
Like,
it's performative and it's fake.
It's not just that. It's like childish. It's like women, like these
Their
are
voting
grown,
block is childish.
Grown women who never matured past student council. Yeah. Like, you should have gotten your rocks off as the treasurer in 7th grade.
I mean,
we're gonna all wear pink to show evil Trump that we're not scared of him.
It's
we're all
but the thing is
bosses.
that's their voting block. Their voting block is the people who saw the posts of like with the whiteboard that said like war criminal, and it gets posted on Pop Base, and they say cooked him.
She ate with that one.
Like ended him.
Sir.
Like people with a sub 50 IQ. Because I'd like to say that I'm the proud bar for the sub 80 IQ. I'm the 80 IQ. The people who say ended him because they posted a sign that said war criminal, that's the sub 50 IQ.
They really ended Al Green, though. Pop Culture Junkie said, my indifference to Meghan Markle knows no bounds.
Fair point.
That's something to be proud of. Yeah. The opposite of hate is not love. It's indifference.
Well, I mean, that's why
the
so
opposite
many
of love, rather.
That's why so many people on the internet don't care if you like them or hate them. They just don't want you to be indifferent to them.
Shane H. Wilder said, Meghan... Oh, I'll say this in a second. Thank you.
Somebody in the chat earlier said, I like my toothpaste.
It does sound like that. I do like my toothpaste. Shane H. Wilder said, Megan, we have these crackers with peanut butter from Lonsay. Bitch, it's pronounced... I don't even know how it's pronounced. And they ain't fancy. They're like 99 cents at 7-Eleven. Well, I think she was trying to seem relatable by, you know, buying stuff from the normal people store. So I guess it's pronounced Lance, not Lonsay.
Okay.
Dingus Khan said, anyone remember the old Hulu commercials where Alec Baldwin literally played a lizard person?
I don't remember that.
No, but I mean,
believable.
Kind of true. Pop Culture Junkie said, Mary, why have you not turned your funny accents like Baldwin's wife into some kind of side hustle? I don't know. I don't know.
What would the side hustle of that entail?
Like a Cameo account? I could start a Cameo account. Do you think I should do that?
A fake Elijah Baldwin Cameo account?
Voice acting is one of my dreams. I would love to do voice acting. Shane H. Wilder said, meat in Latin is carnis, meaning flesh of animals of the land or sky, or warm-blooded animals. So fish are fine. Eggs, milk products, or condiments made from animal fat are also fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew there was some explanation like that, and I didn't know it, but yeah, valid. Glitches said, remember Alec's tweet in 2017 when he wrote, I wonder how it must feel to wrongfully kill someone. Seriously? Is that still up? He's really like saying the quiet part out loud. David Aramond said, giving up sugary snacks and drinks, also alcohol.
Good for you.
Give us updates as we go through the Mark Wahlberg 40-day challenge.
I do love those people who did dry January, and they're like, or like some people like did dry January alcohol, some did dry January sugar, and every one of them comes back. It's like, it was miserable. I'm never doing that again.
But it is.
I had no benefit.
It's meant for alcohol though. Like that's why it's called dry January. I kind of did dry January because I just don't drink every month.
Yeah.
Like it's not that regular of a thing. But yeah, I did like no added sugar for Lent one year.
Okay.
And yeah, there were no health benefits whatsoever. It was just misery.
Okay.
No detox. The Rumbling said, should have put a third option on today's question, not Catholic or Christian.
It does not allow us to do 3 options anymore.
Even if it did.
Yeah. Like,
yeah, but the answer is still no.
You would still be no.
Just means that you're not participating. Another Flo said, if anyone is interested, I am a filthy general on War Planet Online, WPO World 144 VOV faction, bunch of losers, JK, GG.
Okay.
I don't know what any of that means.
But thank you.
Okay. Omega Red Fan said, Hollywood's DEI is their compulsory ideology, LOL.
I mean, I guess. I mean, I think most of it is just, it's a bunch of rich, snobby, stuck-up people who have this vague sense of guilt for their success because they don't feel adequate in what they do. So they have to give you long-winded explanation as to why dressing with a butt window is somehow stunning and brave.
Like the video for butt window.
Porn stars and OnlyFans models are more honest than your average Hollywood celebrity.
So they all have imposter syndrome is what you're saying.
Kinda, yeah. Like, I don't want to hear your rationale why this is a good thing. Like, and I guess that probably does exist in these other industries, right? Like the ones like porn, they're like, oh no, wait, it's a good thing. And then they give you some college level intellectualized answer that they probably got in some class as to why it's a good thing. And you're like, that's cope. We know it's cope. And somehow that to me is not as annoying as Hollywood cope.
Yeah.
I find Hollywood cope to be the most, like, it just be, there's a reason why we joke about Gwyneth Paltrow. Just be inaccessible. Just.
Right. She does it so well. Like, she struck the perfect balance.
Yep.
She said it's about the balance between cigarettes and tofu.
There you go.
Go off, queen. Pop Culture Junkie said one of the writers on the Baldoni story, Megan Twohey, was the lead writer on the original Harvey Weinstein takedown. Oh, that makes a lot more sense.
They went to the expert.
Wait a minute. Was she played by one of the actresses in the She Said movie? I watched that. That was another one of those movies I watched on a plane because I didn't.
I like the idea that you only ever watch movies on planes.
It's one of my favorite things to do on planes.
Okay.
Yeah, Megan Twohey was... Who was she played by in the movie? Carey Mulligan, I think? Or no, Zoe Kazan played Megan Twohey. Carey Mulligan played... whichever other journalist it was. Yeah, I just saw that Candace Owens is starting her investigative series
on
Harvey Weinstein, and she said that she spoke to him on the phone recently.
Yeah.
I'm all ears. I'm not even finished with the Brigitte docu-series.
Wonder if he hit on her.
But I mean, maybe. He's like in his prison cell, like with like belabored breathing, and he's like, I always thought you were a beautiful woman.
It's like, you're giving Halle Berry.
Yeah. And she's just like, can we keep this all business?
Yeah.
Can we just get to work here? But yeah, I'm like seated for that. Not that I'm like a Harvey Weinstein supporter.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to know. She makes me feel like when I watch the Brigitte story, I don't really pay attention to anything she's saying. She just makes me feel something.
Yeah.
Like I'm part of this.
Yeah.
You know?
You're along for the ride.
Yeah. Like there's this big like fight happening and like I'm on her side, but I don't know what's going on. Shane H. Wilder said, for anyone wanting to help the Gongo and their femigenocide, an infomercial voiced by Olivia will drop at 7:30 tomorrow morning with what you can do.
Yeah, Olivia
Apparently
provided the voiceover for the Gongo. You too can support a family for just $2 a day. But getting us to a third crisis party would also support those suffering in the Gongo.
The Gonganese need your help.
They do.
And you're seriously slacking right now. Pop Culture Junkie said, Mary, your inevitable return to Taco Bell after Lent will solve the mystery of does absence make the heart grow fonder apply to food?
I mean, that's true in general.
It definitely does.
First time I came back from like overseas eating American fast food again, I was like, yes, the unhealthy stuff again.
I actually half watched the Live Moss live event yesterday.
Please tell me they live streamed it.
They did.
Oh, that's awesome.
They did. And it was kind of underwhelming. Like I wasn't overwhelmed.
You weren't underwhelmed.
I was whelmed.
You were just
actually.
whelmed?
I was whelmed. Because all of the announcements were just like remixes of the things they've already done.
I mean, that's all what Taco Bell is.
I know, but I was just expecting something
maybe it's also
akin
like
to the Cheez-It Crunch Wrap.
Maybe it's more of like a defense mechanism because you know you're not going to be able to eat it right now.
True.
So you're
I'm
like
just telling myself that I don't want it.
You're actually coping super hard. You're like, that doesn't even sound good.
Yeah. I mean, one of the releases was chicken nuggets. Which were massively whelming. Like, you're Taco Bell. You don't need to make a foray into chicken nuggets.
I agree.
It's not... Like,
I agree.
There's nothing you can do to chicken nuggets that make them better.
And yes, Peace Bomb, $2 a day. They're pushing Range Rovers in the Congo.
No, the Gonganese are struggling right now.
They are. They demand 3 crisis parties a day so they can survive.
Sarah McLachlan starts playing. The tiniest violin in the world starts playing. They actually make keychains of those. You can press the button. It starts playing a song on the smallest violin.
Smallest violin ever. And look, those commercials have gone by the wayside because nobody watches terrestrial television anymore.
That and mesothelioma really fell off.
Yeah. Wait, where do you go to get your, like, if you or a loved one ever struggled with this?
I will tell you.
You may be entitled to compensation.
The targeted advertisements on Instagram are crazy accurate.
Oh, yeah. What do you get? Like, what is targeted to you?
For me, I have actually purchased lip stain, like a lip gloss that like stains your lips off of Instagram because I'm stupid. But I actually don't regret it. And then most of it is just like clothes. And I'm like, wait, like I actually want that.
Yeah.
Like it's working.
That's what mine is.
It's working.
Mine is all like high-end joggers that I would never actually normally spend the money on.
But don't you get the ads for stupid stuff?
No, mine's mostly.
Tim told everyone that he bought. He buys stuff off of Instagram ads all the time.
Yes, he does.
But he recently bought bionic leg armor. And I'm like, I don't even know what that means, but go off.
But go off, King.
Like, he was saying he was going to try to ollie in bionic leg armor that, like, helps you jump higher or something.
Yeah.
That sounds like an accident waiting to happen.
Yeah,
Sounds like a lawsuit.
Meijer stores. I'm only getting that because I was in Michigan recently, and Meijer is a store it's unique to Michigan.
We have a 20 from Jose Quintana. I think Taco Bell should lead the way in placing important franchises in the Gongo for the Gonganese.
I agree.
However, what is the official Gongo flag? What about the national anthem? Official bird, long live the Empress. Yeah, what is the official bird of the Gongo? Toucan Sam.
Oh, that could be it.
I'm going to go with that.
That's okay.
Or Big Bird.
The now it's giving me SodaStream ads. Relevant.
Yeah.
Because I drink...
Is it just listening to you? Like, I know it...
Okay, Modelo, it's giving me... Like, I don't drink, so that's not targeted.
But it knows your demographic, so it probably thinks, like... Guys your age want to drink beer.
The reason it's really good is because, never mind, I get a lot of ads for stuff that I would never get, but the ones that I do like, I probably linger on longer, so it sticks to me. Like, I get the ones for, like, Edge lifestyle joggers, which I just won't spend the money on because they're like $80.
I thought you said that you did buy it.
I did buy one pair one time, but I'm not going to buy them on a regular basis. And everything else is like, I get off Amazon or eBay.
I'm sort of like Meghan Markle in this way. I think that buying expensive clothes and getting them tailored is always worth it.
Yeah.
But that's just my 2
For
cents.
me, I found like, so there's a like a Den of Thieves jogger that is made that you can get at Target that I found to be the absolute best fitting for me as a shorter individual, meaning that like when you're short, the whole point of a jogger is that it's tapered and then it gets slimmer as the leg goes down. But for short people, it tends to bunch up at the bottom because they're too long.
We have short people struggles.
Yeah.
I buy jeans that are capri so that they'll hit my ankle.
Yeah. I mean, you never wear jeans anyways.
Well, I'm trying to wear jeans.
You're giving in to jeans for Lent?
I'm trying to be somebody that wears jeans.
Yeah.
It's not working because none of them really, they're not comfortable. Why does everyone say that jeans are comfortable? They're not comfortable. And it's just not my vibe, but I'm trying to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything I buy, I have to get tailored professionally because it's made for tall people. I know you understand the struggle.
Yeah. I mean, luckily, like the skinny jeans that I would wear growing up from H&M allowed for like 30-28 or 32-28.
I want to know, did you ever cut in the summer? Did you ever cut your skinny jeans into skinny jorts?
No.
You never were one of those guys?
No.
I think it's a look.
No.
That should make a comeback.
I mean, there's already plenty of heated debate about the 5-inch shorts versus the 7-inch shorts, and for men. Personally, like, you should have some definition to your legs if you're going to dare wear shorts above the knees.
I am not talking about above the knees. I mean, like, at or maybe slightly below the knee. That was the look.
Oh, then
of the
definitely.
skinny jorts.
Then
the
definitely.
Skinny jorts were very specific.
Yeah.
Gordon Shumway said, I hope someone makes the Squad and Nancy Pelosi memes of them saying, on Tuesdays we wear pink, a la Mean Girls.
Yeah.
That's literally what they were doing. And every time they panned to Nancy Pelosi, she was just like weirdly shifting her tongue around in her mouth. Have you noticed that she does that? It's really weird.
I wonder what that's about.
Dingus Khan said, did Tim ever buy the dog robots to patrol the studio? Not
that
aware
I've
of any
seen.
dog robots.
I
hope not.
BLT says, Brett seems like a cargo shorts kind of guy. No. I'm not a shorts guy in general.
Nah.
Basketball shorts at home.
Red Snow said, official religion of Gongo is praising Space King. That tracks.
That's about right.
The Manic Mustache said, late as usual, but apropos to 40 days of deprivation, during biblical time, fish was food of the poor. I personally have given up baking pumpernickel. Hashtag free Gongo and stay toxic.
Free the
giving
Gongo.
up pumpernickel for Lent.
I like, so it's just like, you pick the thing that you just don't eat it all to give
Yeah.
up. It's like, oh man, I'm giving up ramen noodles if you don't eat ramen noodles or something like that.
For me, that's why the Taco Bell thing sounds so pathetic, but I legit have Taco Bell so often that this will be a sacrifice for me.
Yeah, it is.
The Rumbling said, first, sounds like YouTube is ripping you off since his polls today had 4 options. Second, if you had the third question, you can ask if you're Christian and why aren't you doing Lent?
Oh, so somebody else.
He said PBD polls today had multiple options.
Weird.
Is it about subscriber count? Because we realized not even like a month ago that we weren't able to do 3 or 4.
Yeah. Don't know what that's about.
I guess we're just not cool
Well,
enough.
speaking of which, I'm going to end the poll. And we're about 2/3 of the way to a third crisis party. If anybody
We're
wants to
getting
get us there for the
It's for the
gongo.
gongo.
So
a good cause.
71% of you say that you are not participating in Lent. But that means that 28% of you are.
Surprising amount, though.
Yep.
Actually, I wasn't expecting that.
There you go. All right. All right, guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to the channel. Again, if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already, first of all, thank you for joining us. And second of all, you should give us a subscription. And please, again, like the video. It is one of the best ways to help the channel grow. It tells the algorithm that you liked what you watched, and who wouldn't have liked what they watched today. It was fantastic. Come on.
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived. I'm also going to be on IRL tonight, begging everyone to like me. We have one last super chat from Shane H. Wilder. Just checked IG, had an ad for Stream Deck, Ascension Press, and Taco Bell. That tracks. Yeah.
That does track.
It says a lot about you. Only good things.
All right. Guys, if you want to follow me, I am on Instagram and on Twix at Brett Dasovic. On both of those platforms, we are here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is noon Pacific. Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify if you would like to listen rather than watch. You can rate and review on Apple Podcast and on Spotify. It's a great way to help the channel to give a rating and a review on those. And then if you want to follow the show on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.